Hey guys, this week's episode is Irresistible, one of those classic X-Files episodes where a lot of shit goes down. So we open on this funeral and there's this huge fucking creep there. His name's Donnie Pfaster. He's like the assistant director of the funeral home or something. He's like stroking the girl's hair in the coffin. Unacceptable. No other word for that, just unacceptable. We don't do that. And then later that night, his boss is down like in the morgue area? Not the morgue, where they're storing all the bodies. And all of a sudden he like hears some shuffling. He's like, who the fuck is down here? Newsflash, it's Donnie. And he's been cutting the hair from the girl that died early in the funeral, and they like check in the coffin and her hair's all fucked up. She looks a mess. And the guy naturally is like, ew, what the fuck, Donnie? Get out of here and never come back because you're super fucking creepy. Then Mulder and Scully get called down to the cemetery where there's this grave that's been unearthed and they think that it's aliens, aka calling Mulder and Scully. But as soon as Mulder and Scully show up, Mulder's just like, I don't think this is aliens, which is like, what? Shocker. He's like suggesting that it's probably some fetishist who has an obsession with death, and they're probably like a cemetery worker or they worked in a morgue. Newsflash, it's probably that creep Donnie Pfaster. Scully's kind of shook by the whole thing. Side note, her hair looks great, but she kind of doesn't understand why Mulder's being so sane about the whole thing and not just assuming that it's aliens. Mulder's like, bitch, I knew from the second we got the call that it wasn't aliens. Like, I knew it was this other thing. And then he asks Scully out on a date. Like, what has gotten into Mulder?
Our plane doesn't leave until tomorrow night. If you suspect it...
Vikings versus Redskins, Scully. 40-yard line in the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. You and me.
First, it's not aliens. Second, he's asking her out. Like, this is kind of the way he should be probably all the time, but like, what? Shocking behavior. Then Donnie's trying to find a new job as a delivery man. The whole thing is super sketchy. He's like acting super weird during the interview, but like, strangely enough, the chick who's interviewing him is into it. And he suggests that he's like very religious, and she's like, I'll put it on your application. So Mulder wants to make the public aware that there's like a fetishist on the loose, and the local police is like, nah man, like people down here are simple and they'll be freaked out if we tell them that. Meanwhile, Scully is still just so shook. And the real X-File here is how she looks so amazing while being so shook. She just looks so good. I forgot how amazing she looked in this episode. So she's reading up on fetishists and like trying to figure out like what motivates them and like the profile. Meanwhile, she's wearing glasses. They are... Anytime Scully wears glasses is a win for us all. Cut to Donnie. He's driving the streets, prowling for hookers, doing generally shady shit, and he like picks one of them up and takes her back to his apartment. He's like generally horrifying and asks to run her a bath, and she's like, okay. I hate to tell you this, but you in danger, girl. Then Donnie gets a call and he goes in another room to take it. Then all of a sudden the girl is like coming into his room. Why is the bath water so cold? It's so cold because he's trying to kill you. But then she spots all of this like death shit all over his room. Flowers and arrangements. Suddenly she's clued in. She knows that she is going down, and she's like backing the fuck out of there. But homegirl wasn't fast enough. The cops find her body on the side of the road, and Scully like needs to excuse herself and take a minute. Now this case is really affecting Scully. It's like every scene she's just like shook beyond belief. Then it turns out that Donnie got that job as a delivery man. People are just letting him inside their homes like it's no big deal. Like he's not maybe the creepiest person on earth. He's like super creepy to her daughter, and then he goes into the bathroom and he pulls out all the hair from the garbage can and smells it. Then this bitch has the audacity to tell him that they just leave the back door unlocked. Homegirl almost deserves to die for being so fucking stupid. Then Scully's doing the autopsy report on the dead prostitute. She's like waxing poetic during her autopsy report. Clearly she's got a lot of feelings. Clearly she's got a lot going on. Then Donnie Pfaster is in a mythology class and he spots this girl and he just gives her the look. The look that says, oh girl, I'm gonna run you a cold bath and then murder you. You know, that look. So he approaches her by her car and tries to be as chill as he could possibly be before trapping her in the small space. Girl has teeth. She fights back like a true queen and gets the hell away and ends up getting him locked up. This is what all our mamas taught us, to run and scream and fight for your life. Then Scully has this horrible dream where she like is on an autopsy table and she wakes up. This case is really getting to her, but she gets a call saying they've got a possible suspect in the prostitute murder. But It turns out it's just this average John, definitely not our guy. But then, reveal, Donnie Pfaster is like behind her, looking over her shoulder like a super fucking creep. Shocker. So after interviewing him, Mulder knows that this normal John is not their guy. And as they're walking out, Pfaster's eyes catch Scully's and she's like horrified, as she should be, and she asks to talk to Mulder for a second. She wants to sort of go back to Washington, study like the details of the case, really like look at the science, and Mulder's just like not buying it. He sees through her shit real good, and he's like, homegirl, if it's rough, just tell me. And Scully's like, nah, I'm fine.
I just don't want you to think you have to hide anything from me.
But like these conversations between them are just so a lot, because Mulder just wants them to be like transparent and honest with each other, and he totally understands if Scully is like feeling the feelings, but she just wants to be strong. I ship it. And then after Mulder and Scully have left, Donnie like whispers through the bars to the John in the cell across from him, and he's asking who like Mulder and Scully were and what were their names, and the John can't remember Mulder's name, but he remembers Scully, and he tells Donnie that the female cop's name was Scully. Man, you sold our girl out. That's not cool. That's not cool, man. Then Donnie gets released because apparently that girl dropped the charges against him. Bitch, what? Are we just gonna accept that explanation? She just dropped the charges for no good reason? Sounds fake, but okay. Then Scully goes and sees a psychologist when she's back in Washington. She knows that this case is getting to her and she can't figure out why. And oh my god, I really need to bring everybody's attention to this close-up of Gillian Anderson's face, because it truly ended my life. She's so beautiful, it physically hurts me. Her face is just perfection. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Everything there is right. Then the psychologist asks about Mulder.
Is your partner? Is there a problem with trust?
No. I trust him as much as anyone. I trust him with my life.
Can you talk to him about the way you're feeling?
I don't want him to know how much this is bothering me. I don't want him to feel like he has to protect me.
I mean, this is just so much. Like, Scully just wants to be strong for him, but she's like, this dynamic of wanting to be strong and protect each other is just... it's too much. Baby Scully is so strong. Yes, bitch. Anyway, so it turns out that Scully's forensic friends pull a fingerprint off of the dead prostitute. So Scully's gonna like send them the print and then fly back to Minneapolis to like continue helping on the ground with the investigation. Back in Minneapolis, they've matched the print that Scully gave them to Donnie Pfaster. They like storm his home, but he's gone because, fun fact, he's going after Scully. While she's on her way there, she's in the car and fucking Donnie Pfaster is following her and like banging his car into her car. It's like a situation. Her car gets like thrown off the side of the road. When she never shows up, Mulder is like, Scully should be here by now, because yeah, she should be. And they like go investigating, they find her car, they're trying to figure out like where she could be. So Donnie brings Scully back to this like empty house that's for sale, and he's running it back like the weird fuck that he is, while poor Scully is like tied up in this like closet space. Poor baby. Donnie's got a knife and he's going to cut the restraints, and honestly this whole scene is just like unbearable to watch. Poor Scully, like in distress and like feeling so vulnerable, like oh my god. Then Scully busts a move like the bad bitch she is. She pushes Pfaster into the bathtub and like runs out. Pfaster's going throughout the house. He ends up getting a gun. He's trying to find her. He keeps calling her girly girl. No, I reject that. We do not call her that ever. He ends up finding her. They end up getting into a tussle. They're falling down the stairs. It's like very aggressive. There's so much going on. And then Mulder and team bust through the door and they like grab Pfaster, and Mulder goes to Scully and he's like trying to untie her. And then one of the best MSR scenes that ever happens. And I just like...
Scully, I want somebody to take a look at you.
I'm fine.
very emotional. Scully's trying to be like, I'm fine, Mulder, everything's fine. But then he lifts her chin and she just can't hide from him anymore. And she just breaks down and starts crying. And the way she hugs him, she just like wraps her whole self around him, and like he just envelops her in like maybe the best hug ever, and she just starts sobbing, and it's just such a beautiful moment for their partnership and their relationship and their friendship, and it's just and yeah, that's how they leave you. That's the end of the episode. Just really emotional. As always, thanks so much for watching. Go watch some of my other videos, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you back next week with another X-Files vlog.